All right, so we're going to be responding to John Cleese, who is a British comedian and a supporter of Rupert Lowe, and he is very simply saying that political correctness is nonsensical. You should be able to speak your mind. And England, as many know, has had a very big problem with freedom of speech. And the reason for that is because of the fear of backlash, largely from the Muslim community. So let's get right into it.
John Cleese is being called a racist and a bigot for his support of Rupert Lowe. That's what we're covering right now. So John Cleese tweets, "I see I am being ritually insulted for my support of this man. The uneducated call me a racist. I am not a racist. I am a culturalist. I believe that some cultures are better than others. I prefer cultures to not do advocate stoning, pedestry, wife beating, female genital mutilation, and beheading opponents. Call me old-fashioned. British unapologetically. Be honest, if Rupert Lowe's Restore Britain contested the next general election, would they have your vote?" I think Rupert Lowe brings up one of the best cases for the future of the UK. Call it far right, call it fascism, call it Nazism. I don't think anybody really cares anymore. I think the British patriots have actually woken up and said, you know what? It's time. 5 Pillars UK, a Muslim UK-based news site covering current affairs related to Islam and Muslims. The prominent Islamophobe John Cleese is to tour the UK in September and will visit cities with large Muslim populations such as Birmingham, Manchester, Bradford, and Leeds. And this is maybe a threat for when he shows up that there shall be protests and an attempt on his life. Probably, I'm assuming, considering what we know from these communities. Here's 5 Pillars continues in post. Actor and comedian John Cleese attended Islamophobe Harman Singh Kapoor's non-halal restaurant in Hammersmith, London yesterday. The comedian has increasingly been peddling Islamophobic far-right narratives online in recent months.
Most delicious. Here we are.
You want to say something, John, for us?
Say something.
Yeah.
I just had the most delicious curry. It's the first time in my life I've eaten badger, but I really recommend it. And I'm coming back for some more because I know you also do warthog.
Thank you, John. Thanks so
much.
So there you go. Again, we see nothing wrong with the that restaurant talking about how they didn't want halal food. That is totally Sultan. We love him very much. If you have not subscribed to him, subscribe to him already. He's a great, incredible YouTuber. Let's take a look at his take on the PBD podcast.
What's the
Monty Python.
He said something recently that got him in trouble. Here's what he said. He said, "I see I am being ritually insulted for my support of this man." He's talking about Rupert Lowe, of what's going on with Britain. The uneducated call me racist. I'm not a racist. I'm a culturalist.
That's what I said.
I believe that some cultures are better than others. I prefer cultures that do not advocate stoning, pederasty, wife beating, female genital mutilation, and beheading opponents. Call me old-fashioned.
He's very well educated on Islam. This is why people like me feel like giving ourselves a pat on the back. I don't know if he knows me or not. Probably doesn't know me. But I'm sure at some point he would have seen videos by anti-Islam educators, people who are knowledgeable of Islam and are not Muslims. He would have seen their videos or posts at some point about Islam. David Wood might have educated him. The apostate prophet might have educated him. Or there are literally hundreds of people who've been talking about the bad practices of Islam that have been introduced into the West. So John Cleese has been posting tweets like this since March, as I said. Let me see this. Here he's talking about Sadiq Khan. Does this little man not understand that Islam is a very aggressive belief system, threatening death to anyone who does not convert to Islam or criticizes Islam? The Buddhists, the Taoists, the Scottish Presbyterians, the Hindus and the Sikhs and the Confucians and the Catholics don't go around shouting about beheading people they disagree with. Is this too much for your tiny little brain to take in? He's talking about this one. When this plant of the Islamist, Sadiq Khan, was complaining about Britain becoming too unsafe for Muslims. British Muslims are living in fear, yet they still keep coming to Britain in their thousands. I don't think Jews were lining up to go into Nazi Germany. Does that make sense? No, they weren't. But Muslims are coming in their thousands. Just a couple of days ago, another 230 fighting-age Muslim men entered the UK. I'm not going to bore you with his video. He was just basically saying British Muslims are scared. Let me show you one more tweet of John Cleese that was March 18. I don't want to be conquered and have to bow down to Islam. Does that cause offense to Muslims? And again, sorry, let me go back a little bit. I said he might have heard about Islam from non-Muslim people who are educated on Islam, like me or David Wood or something else. No, actually, no. I forgot the most important ingredient in this recipe of Islam education. There are literally thousands, if not tens of thousands of videos by Muslims telling what they're going to do to the West. So there is no better educator about Islam to non-Muslims than truthful Muslims. Yeah, this guy's talking about how he's going to conquer the West. And John Cleese is saying, I don't want to be conquered by Islam. Apparently, we cannot allow any criticism of Islam suggesting the wife beating might be wrong is a phobia, like fear of spiders or dogs. Sorry to have to say this, the British do not like the kind of diversity that intends to take over Britain and kill any infidel that does not convert to Islam. Is that hard to understand, silly little man? So that was John Cleese for you. And as I said, he has posted like this maybe over a dozen times about Islam since March, maybe a little bit more than a dozen times. So obviously that hasn't been going down well with Muslims. Now,
and why would it? Because he's actually criticizing in some level the supremacist nature of many of these Western Pakistani Muslims who are Pakistani Bangladeshi Muslims who are immigrating to the UK. I'm not going to defend everything that John Cleese says, but let's be honest for a second. They're allowed to say this shit. Robert Spencer, Mehdi Hassan calls Hugh Fitzgerald the most consistently and effectively warning about the threat to the Toshan. Now Cleese is asked on yet again being called a racist and Islamophobe, which of course he is, because any criticism of Islamists inside of the UK is always going to be met with, you're a racist Islamophobe. Comedy legend John Cleese is set to perform 3 shows in Israel this June. Here's John Cleese being politically incorrect.
I used to go out and do these racial jokes. I'd say, French, why do the French have so many civil wars so they can win one now and again? Yeah. Why are Australians so well balanced? Because they have a chip on each shoulder. I used to do these jokes, and then I say, and there were these 2 Mexicans, and the whole place would go, oh.
Right.
I want to say, what you make jokes about Swedes and Germans and French and English and Canadians and Americans. Why can't we make jokes about Mexicans? Is it because they're so feeble that they can't look after them? So you see, it's very, very condescending there. Well, why is it? Who are the people you can't make jokes about?
Muslims.
Muslim?
Yeah. Try that.
Yeah, but
see what your Twitter feed says.
Yes. Yeah, but that's not saying that you can't. That just means that they'll kill you.
Fuck
right?
them. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I've said that.
Theoretically, you could.
I've made jokes like, it's a religion of peace. There's a PC over there. There's a PC over there. And see, they're they're pretending to laugh now, but you can tell their first instinct was, oh, no, you didn't,
Oh, dear.
But,
I think it's terribly important. But the problem is, if you make jokes about people who are going to kill you, there is a sort of a tendency to hold back a little, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some cultures are better than others. There's no doubt about it. Some ways of life trump other ways of life. Political correctness is the most idiotic concept. And anyone who can't handle it, whether that be Jews, Muslims, Christians, Hindus, Buddhists, whoever, anyone who cannot handle it, I don't know what to tell you. Because the irony of speaking your mind is actually that it allows for bridges to be built. When you criticize other people, and they have the thick enough skin to handle it, they can self-reflect, and then there's room for dialogue. That's how you build friendships. Okay? And then you also allow for honesty. When you cancel people, you don't allow for them to speak. You don't speak. It's just disastrous. Okay? And so Islam obviously does not allow for these things. And so John Cleese doesn't give a shit. He says exactly how it is. And he's 100% right. I am the biggest fan of free speech. I am a free speech extremist. So I'm all for it. I'm all for it. And no one is above criticism. So, and that includes Jews by all means. As a Jew myself, a proud one. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Leave your comments. Follow me at Rafi the Realtor for all of your real estate needs in South Florida on the gram. And you can support the Chanel by going to the Buy Me a Coffee link in the pinned comment or description. Thank you as always for your support. I appreciate your donations, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.